It's probably the hardest I've gone for 23 hours, start to finish.
The start of the race was a little chaotic. We didn't seat ourselves near the front where some people should be and some people shouldn't be. So we kind of were able to miss out on much of that and then just slowly pick boats away as we went through the race.
Paddling was not our strength going into the race. So to get that out of the way right away was a really big thing for us because it gave us enough time to catch up to other teams if we were to come out, let's say, in 10th place or so.
The boats were divided up amongst the 12 co-ed teams. Every co-ed team was given one 16-foot ultralight and one 16-foot red boat. It's just a red boat.
Harper and I were in the fast boat, the light boat, and we put Jack and Shannon in the slower boat because Jack is a monster paddler, and we were actually even with speed, so that was pretty efficient, and we never hooked up a tow or anything, and stayed right together. Towards the end, he could actually sit in our draft.
The portages were troublesome in a physical sense, but we had no problem with the navigation. In the end, we got it, but it took one person carrying it, one person pushing the boat down to kind of get a nice balance. And
You know, we had one major error, and that was trying to locate CP4 on the first trek. And we decided to go off our bearing, and that was a big mistake. And we were just roaming around. We couldn't find anything to orient ourselves off of. So we just sat by a lake and we're looking at the maps. And all of a sudden, we were hearing teams about a few hundred feet behind us, and they were running. So we ran up the hill, and then more teams are coming. So we knew that they were coming from CP4. So we bolted in the opposite direction. We passed, I don't even know how many teams. I was personally nervous. I'm sure the guys were probably a little nervous too, but we said, let's just get CP4 and let's just, move on. And we had a really good trek to CP5, and I think that really boosted the morale.
We actually had a pretty big snafu on the bike. We shot right past the turn, and we turned around and came back, and we knew we were too far. We took the first left we hit coming back, which was wrong. And we needed to go just a little bit further, and that's when the French team got ahead of us, actually.
we had a very conservative look for this race. One of our members, this is his second race ever. He has done a 5-hour adventure race. Another gentleman has only done one 24-hour race. And Kelly, she's done 4 or 5, I think. So we went into it with some different expectations than perhaps in the past. We wanted to make sure that we had fun, that everyone got to see as much of the course as possible, but at the same time be as competitive as we could within what we thought was going to be the case. In the end, it turned out to be exactly what happened.
We left the second TA on our bikes, and we found out that we were 45 minutes behind Stoked Oaks. They were leading, and we just said, okay, let's do this. And we made up a lot of time on the bike. We actually passed them on the bike, and then we got to a single track area and we made a wrong turn, turned around, and then they were in front of us, but because it was a really narrow single track, we couldn't pass them. So we just, sat back and said, let's continue on.
We had lost some time on the bike. The French team had passed us. When we got into the TA, they were just leaving. They chose to swim to the first control. We chose to kind of run around to it, and we actually beat them to the first control on that loop.
We took all different routes when we got back to trekking. Once we split up, we had really good transition times. That was it. We just kept on grinding.
It was the second control that we actually struggled with. Lost our position on the map a little, and they nailed it and put an hour and 10 minutes into us just on that one control. The next control was pretty efficient for us, we thought, and they actually put more time into us, so they were just flying at that point. And then we got into TA, and I think they put another 20 minutes onto us. So by the time we get into the TA, we went from the lead to 2 hours behind.
We had no idea how far the teams were behind us when we got off the final trek. So we got on our bikes and said, just give it everything. And when we finished the race, we found out that the second place team hadn't even left the trek. And we were like, oh, that was so tiring. We could have taken our time out there. You can't hesitate. You always have to race your hardest because you never know what may happen. You may get a flat tire, a chain may break or something. So you always have to make sure that you're building. If you have a lead, you have to try to continue to build that lead to ensure a win. Punch, where's the punch? Where's the punch? Oh, yeah. Punch it. Go! Come on! Yes! Woo!
Awesome job,
Way to come back.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Good job, Steph. Nice
Yeah.
episode there.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, remember, Gaston. That's it.
The Beaver is going to Quebec!
Woo!
And US!
And New York.
Good job.
It was ridiculously interesting to see the prep up for this race. There's a lot of prep. There's a lot that goes into a 24-hour adventure race. And to see someone who had no experience, that they hadn't even watched one before online or had really had much exposure to it, to gather gear, to talk about strategies, to talk about what to carry with you and when, and he killed it. It was really neat to see on the final bike him towing people, providing encouragement. It was pretty cool to watch.